Jordan will not tolerate any violation of its sovereignty or any threat to its security and stability. That is a direct line from Jordanian Senate President Faisal Fayez after repeated Iranian missile and drone incursions. It tells you almost everything you need to know about the tension at the center of this story. Jordan does not want to become a battlefield, but geography, American military deployments, and Iran's retaliation campaign are making neutrality harder to preserve. Today, I want to walk you through Jordan's interception of 5 Iranian drones overnight and early on July 21st, 2026. The immediate result was clean. 5 incoming drones were detected, engaged, and neutralized. Jordan reported no casualties. Jordan reported no structural damage. But the larger picture is far less reassuring. We are breaking this down using Jordan's official military statements, reporting from the Associated Press, Reuters, the Wall Street Journal, Al Jazeera, Iran's own Tasnim and Fars-linked reporting, and public information from the United States military. Stick around, because by the end you will understand 3 details that change the meaning of those 5 interceptions. You will understand why 5 drones destroyed in the sky can still serve Iran's strategy. You will understand why Jordan's air defense success may make the kingdom a more important target rather than a safer one. And you will understand why Professor Ayadat, a senior fellow at the Royal United Services Institute, says one theory on the table is that Iran is conducting a shaping operation before a larger attack. There's a lot of loud talk online claiming that Iran's leadership panicked and Jordan simply erased the threat. That language does not match the evidence. Jordan's military confirmed that 5 drones were neutralized efficiently and accurately. It also confirmed that nobody was injured and no property was damaged. That is a real defensive success. But there is no verified evidence that senior Iranian leaders panicked. There is also no evidence that 5 interceptions erased Iran's remaining drone inventory or ended its ability to launch more. So let us separate the tactical result from the strategic contest. The tactical result was 5 for 5. The strategic contest is still open. Start with Jordan's position on the map. Jordan sits between Iraq, Syria, Saudi Arabia, Israel, and the Palestinian territories. Any long-range Iranian weapon moving west toward Israel may cross or approach Jordanian airspace. Any Iranian weapon aimed at American facilities inside Jordan is attacking the kingdom directly. That makes Jordan both a shield and a target. Muwafaq Salti Air Base, also known as Al-Azraq, lies roughly 100 kilometers east of Amman. It hosts Jordanian forces and has supported American military operations. Iranian state media has repeatedly described that base as an American launch platform. The July 21st incident involved 5 drones launched from Iran. Jordan said the drones arrived overnight and early Tuesday morning. The interception caused 0 casualties and 0 structural damage. One day earlier, Jordan said it had intercepted 3 missiles launched from Iranian territory. Again, it reported 0 casualties and 0 material damage. Taken together, that is 8 incoming weapons dealt with across roughly one night and one morning. The pattern becomes clearer when you widen the timeline. On July 18th, Jordan said its air defenses had downed 10 Iranian missiles. Jordanian fighter aircraft also intercepted 4 drones over the previous 24 hours. On July 19th, Jordan intercepted 3 of 4 Iranian missiles. The 4th fell in a remote, uninhabited part of southern Jordan. No casualties or property damage were reported. On July 20th, 3 more missiles were intercepted. On July 21st, 5 drones were neutralized. That means Jordan publicly reported engagements against at least 25 missiles and drones across those 4 dates alone. That matters because air defense is not only a contest of accuracy, it is a contest of inventory, maintenance, crew endurance, sensor coverage, and cost. Iran can use relatively inexpensive one-way attack drones to force Jordan and its partners to activate far more expensive systems. Al Jazeera described the regional paradox clearly. Gulf and regional states rely on American-linked defenses because Iranian weapons threaten them. But the American military presence also gives Tehran a reason to place those states inside its target set. Jordan has seen this scale before. On March 21st, the Jordanian military said 36 projectiles had been recorded during the 3rd week of the conflict. It reported intercepting 14 missiles and 21 drones. One attack was not intercepted. Across the conflict up to that point, Jordan said 240 missiles and drones had been launched toward the kingdom. Of those, 222 were intercepted and destroyed. 18 got through. That produces an interception rate of 92.5%. A 92.5% rate sounds excellent, but the 18 that evade the shield are the reason no commander treats the percentage as a guarantee. That is exactly what the chronology of July demonstrates. On July 9th, Jordan said it intercepted 8 missiles launched from Iran. Falling debris was reported. No casualties or property damage followed. On July 12th, the picture changed. Jordan said 3 missiles originating in Iran fell at several locations inside the kingdom. There were no casualties. There was minor material damage. That incident showed that weapons can enter Jordan even when a mass casualty result is avoided. On July 13th, Jordan reported intercepting 4 missiles. On July 14th, it reported another 4. On July 15th, it said 3 ballistic missiles were intercepted after breaching Jordanian airspace. Each official statement emphasized sovereignty, readiness, and rules of engagement. Iran's own media described the same campaign very differently. Tasnim reported that the Iranian army launched a new wave of retaliatory drone strikes against the Al-Azraq base. Tasnim said the drones targeted areas housing F-A-18 fighter jets and large military equipment hangars. Those claims were not independently verified. Jordan did not confirm that Iranian drones destroyed those aircraft or hangars. But the Iranian account is important because it confirms the declared target logic. Tehran says it is striking American military infrastructure. Jordan says Iranian weapons are violating Jordanian sovereignty and threatening Jordanian citizens. On July 17th, the danger moved from repeated interception to confirmed loss. Iran launched a broader series of missile and drone attacks against American-linked sites across the region. A strike on Muwafaq Salti Air Base killed 2 United States Army soldiers. The Pentagon identified them as First Lieutenant Tyler James Feehan, age 25, and Private Isabella Gonzalez, age 19. A third service member was reported missing. 4 others were injured and evacuated for treatment, according to reporting on the attack. The Wall Street Journal reported that an Iranian ballistic missile struck prefabricated housing units used by American troops. That detail matters. The target was not an abstract symbol on a map. It was a place where people slept, stored personal belongings, and prepared for duty. The strike proved that Jordan's air defense network is strong, but not impenetrable. It also changed the political stakes for Washington. These were among the first American deaths caused by direct Iranian fire in the current war. President Donald Trump warned that when Iran kills an American soldier, it will pay many times over. The United States then continued its strike campaign against Iranian military infrastructure. By July 21st, the United States had carried out strikes for a 10th consecutive night. The Pentagon said nearly 100 American troops had suffered mostly minor injuries since the latest round of fighting began on July 7th. It said about 96% had already returned to duty. 17 United States service members had died since the broader conflict began in February. On July 18th, Jordan again reported 10 missiles intercepted and 4 drones shot down. Iranian media claimed the Revolutionary Guard had struck aircraft shelters and a parking ramp at Al-Azraq. Tasnim also carried claims that American aircraft had been destroyed. Those claims were not independently confirmed. The important verified fact is that Iranian attacks continued after the deadly July 17th strike. On July 19th, 3 of 4 incoming missiles were intercepted. On July 20th, 3 were intercepted. Then came the 5 drones overnight into July 21st. Jordan's official news agency said the drones originated in Iran. If you want the real story instead of whichever exaggerated headline is trending this week, subscribe and turn on notifications. I'm going to keep tracking Jordan's air defense battle specifically. The next update may be the one where a routine interception becomes another penetration, or where diplomacy finally interrupts the launch cycle. I want to be clear that this next part is my opinion, not reported fact. Iran's repeated attacks on Jordan may serve 3 purposes at once. The first purpose is retaliation. Iran says bases in Jordan support American military operations against Iranian territory. Striking those bases lets Tehran answer American air power without trying to match the United States aircraft for aircraft. The second purpose is depletion. Every Iranian drone forces Jordan and its partners to decide whether to fire an interceptor, scramble an aircraft, activate electronic warfare, or accept the risk of tracking it longer. A drone that is destroyed may still consume radar time, missile inventory, fuel, maintenance hours, and human attention. 5 intercepted drones are therefore 5 tactical failures for the attacker, but they may still impose operational cost. The third purpose is shaping. Jordan lies along a useful western corridor from Iran toward Israel. If Iran can force Jordan to expend interceptors, relocate batteries, reveal radar positions, or divide attention between defending cities and defending bases, a later attack may face a thinner shield. Professor Ayadat told The National that theories were being discussed that Iran could be conducting a shaping operation. Another former intelligence assessment cited by the outlet argued that the targets appeared focused on specific defense zones. That does not prove a secret Iranian master plan. It does show why military analysts do not judge the campaign only by counting wrecked drones. It can combine drones with ballistic missiles. It can send one type of threat first and another behind it. The defender must solve every object correctly. The attacker only needs one serious mistake. Jordan's restraint may also be deliberate. Amman has condemned the attacks and summoned Iran's chargé d'affaires. It has stated that it will respond decisively to threats. But it has avoided presenting itself as a party seeking war with Iran. That is not weakness. It is an attempt to defend sovereignty without surrendering diplomatic space. Jordan's message is that its airspace is not available for attacks by Iran, the United States, Israel, or anyone else. In practice, enforcing that principle becomes complicated when American forces are already stationed on Jordanian bases. Iran sees those forces as part of the war. Jordan sees an attack on any site inside the kingdom as an attack on Jordanian sovereignty. The United States sees the bases as defensive and operational hubs. Those three perspectives overlap on the same runway. That is why the word panic in the title needs discipline. Iranian leaders may be under severe military and political pressure, but repeated launches do not look like an actor that has stopped functioning. They look like an actor still trying to impose cost. The 5 drones were defeated. This single incident explains why 5 successful interceptions on July 21st matter so much. The base sits near Azraq, about 100 kilometers east of Amman. It supports Jordanian aviation and American deployments. Iranian media has repeatedly called it a launch platform for attacks on Iran. During the July 17th attack, missiles and drones approached the base. At least one ballistic missile penetrated the defensive picture. 2 soldiers were killed. First Lieutenant Tyler Feehan was 25. Private Isabella Gonzalez was 19. They assign fighters, surface-to-air missiles, or other systems. Every decision happens under time pressure. Ballistic missiles may arrive within minutes. Drones may approach slowly and from lower altitude. A mixed attack forces the network to look high and low at once. If the system tracks a drone too late, it may reach a building. If it spends its best interceptor on a decoy, a more dangerous weapon may follow. If friendly aircraft are operating nearby, identification becomes even more complicated. The July 17th penetration does not prove the entire network failed. Most of the other incoming weapons may have been destroyed, but the one that reached the housing area produced the strategic result Tehran wanted. It caused American casualties. It raised political pressure. It triggered promises of retaliation. It made every later siren feel more serious. That is why Jordan's July 21st report emphasized 0 casualties and 0 damage. The military was not merely announcing 5 wrecked drones. It was telling the public that the deadly July 17th outcome had not been repeated. Right now, today, somewhere at a Jordanian air defense site, crews are watching tracks move across screens. Some have been working repeated alert cycles for days. Royal Engineering Corps teams are securing debris fields after interceptions. They have to identify hazardous components before civilians reach them. In neighborhoods under the flight paths, families hear sirens and wait for the sound of an interception. Parents move children away from windows. Drivers pull over and look toward the sky. At Muwafaq Salti, American and Jordanian personnel are returning to duties after a strike that killed 2 soldiers. Some are entering the same type of prefabricated housing that was hit. Others are checking damaged areas or moving equipment. Across Iran, technicians and launch crews are also working beneath the threat of American strikes. Their families do not control the decisions made by senior commanders. A drone destroyed over empty ground is a defensive success. Its falling debris can still injure someone. A missile intercepted above a city can still scatter metal across roads and roofs. A weapon that reaches a base can turn a strategic argument into a family's permanent loss. You can analyze air defense without treating the sky like a scoreboard. The people below it are the reason the interception matters. If you want deep dives like this, the moment new information actually gets confirmed, share this with one person who has been confused by the louder, less careful takes floating around. Here's the clean 5-point recap. First, Jordan's military said it intercepted and neutralized 5 drones launched from Iran overnight and early on July 21st. The operation caused no casualties and no structural damage. That is the confirmed event behind the title. Second, the 5 drones were part of a sustained campaign. Jordan reported 3 Iranian missiles intercepted on July 20th. It reported 3 of 4 intercepted on July 19th. It reported 10 missiles and 4 drones dealt with on July 18th. Across those 4 dates, Jordan publicly described engagements against at least 25 incoming weapons. Third, Jordan's defense has been effective but not perfect. Earlier military figures showed 222 of 240 missiles and drones intercepted during the broader conflict period covered by the statement. That is a 92.5% rate. But 18 weapons still evaded interception. On July 17th, a strike on Muwafaq Salti Air Base killed 2 American soldiers, injured others, and left another service member missing at the time of the initial reports. Fourth, Iran says its targets are American military facilities. Tasnim and other Iranian outlets have described Al-Azraq as a base supporting attacks on Iran. Jordan says Iranian missiles and drones violate Jordanian sovereignty and threaten its citizens. Iran's intended target does not remove Jordan's right to defend its airspace. Fifth, the title's strongest words need to be resolved honestly. Jordan did erase 5 incoming drone threats in the limited tactical sense that all 5 were neutralized before causing casualties or structural damage. Jordan did not erase Iran's drone program. Jordan did not end Iran's capacity to launch another wave. And there is no verified evidence that Iran's senior leadership was literally panicking. The better description is that Iran is under pressure, is retaliating, and is testing a regional defense network that has already suffered one deadly penetration. My prediction is that Jordan will continue intercepting a high percentage of incoming threats. But I do not think a high percentage is the same as safety. Iran can continue mixing drones and missiles. It can vary timing and direction. It can force Jordan to spend resources and expose defensive patterns. The most dangerous outcome is not necessarily a giant barrage. It is one weapon slipping through during a night that begins to feel routine. So look back at the word you chose, shield or saturate. Did the evidence change your answer? Subscribe so you catch it the moment something actually changes.